Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We got another new wireless mouse from Gamesense, the Wireless MVP. To get right into the attributes of the Gamesense MVP, it is the same texture matte coating as the wired version of the mouse. You do have a glossy coating over mouse 4 and mouse 5 as well as the DPI button, and you do have a nice rubberized scroll wheel on this copy of the mouse. As far as the skates out of the box, they are PTFE, however they are not my favorite default stock PTFE skates. They're certainly not the worst, but not the greatest. I did upgrade those and swap those out for glass skates from a different mouse that work very well on this mouse. And as far as the coating, like the wired version that I did review, it is a fingerprint and oil magnet. Certainly not my favorite coating. But as far as all of the switches in the mouse, it is using Kale 4.0s in mouse 1 and mouse 2, mouse 4 and mouse 5, and everything feels very clicky and very good. Build quality on my copy of the mouse is better than the wired one that I did review, so as far as build quality, let's get into it. As far as the build quality, the mouse does come packaged very nicely, and I do like the fact that Gamesense has different artwork for each of their mouse releases. The Gamesense MVP, I think the packaging does look great, and all of the information you possibly need about the mouse does come on the box, at least the most important things about the mouse, including the fact that this mouse is using a Pulsar 3370, which is a top-tier wireless performance sensor. As far as my overall build quality, the side flex, if I am pushing as hard as I can, I have absolutely none. Flex from the top down, again, absolutely none. And as far as pushing the bottom plate upwards, I have absolutely no flex there either. Getting into my most important feature that I am going to start throwing into build quality, the weight balance. Weight balance on the mouse actually feels very, very good. I don't find it to be front heavy. I don't find it to be back heavy. The weight is very well distributed, so it gets A+ in that regard as well. And my side flex on mouse 1 and mouse 2 is very, very minimal. As far as post-travel and pre-travel on mouse 4 and mouse 5, I have just a tiny, tiny bit of pre-travel, nothing significant at all. And as far as post-travel, I have no post-travel on mouse 4 or mouse 5. My switches feel very good in mouse 1 and mouse 2, and I would say I have just a bit of pre-travel, very, very minimal here. And as far as post-travel, I have almost no post-travel, so the switches and the plastic over the switches happens to be very, very good implementation in this mouse. As far as the slam clicking issue I had on the wired copy that I did review, I do not have that issue on this mouse. The liftoff distance and the performance of the 3370 sensor both feel good here. Nothing that I could tell was drastically laggy or anything that I could tell being an issue with the liftoff distance. So sensor implementation here is good in my opinion. And speaking of performance, I will throw up some clips of Apex on my left as well as some Valorant. But the mouse for me felt good in tac shooters. It felt good in Apex. Initially using the mouse with those default PTFE skates, they just didn't feel good to me. I did swap them out for glass, and of course swapping the skates out for your preferred third-party skates does make an enjoyable experience and totally resolves that issue. And I don't really know of too many default PTFE skates that I don't swap anyway. As far as the texture in-game, the mouse does maintain quite a bit of grippiness despite that oil, despite that accumulation of those fingerprints on the mouse. The side switches, mouse 1 and mouse 2, all felt very, very clicky, very good in-game with a nice little poppy response to them. And the mouse 3 and scroll wheel felt very good as well. As far as the wireless latency compared to the G Pro Superlight, again, I did not feel much of any issue at all using them back to back. So I think if you are looking for a very, very good wireless package at $89.99, certainly the MVP could be a very, very good option for you if you are looking for something smaller than a G Pro Superlight. Now, as far as the MVP is concerned, it is $99 MSRP, it is $89.99 on sale, and I feel like that price category kind of gets it in between the Ninjutsu Katana as well as a G Pro Superlight. The G Pro Superlight is closer to the MVP in size than the Ninjutsu Katana. The Katana is bigger than the G Pro. The MVP is smaller than the G Pro. And I feel like in this category, if you are looking for something smaller lengthwise than the G Pro Superlight, I think the MVP is definitely a solid option. As far as my grips with the mice, I do generally use a relaxed fingertip grip. And for me, the G Pro Superlight with my over 21 centimeter hands is more comfortable than the MVP. As far as a claw grip, though, the MVP with its reduced length, in my opinion, feels better than the G Pro Superlight. So it really depends what type of grip you're using, what type of size you're looking for. But overall, the build quality with that 3370 sensor performance, I did not notice a huge decrease in wireless latency between the G Pro Superlight or the MVP. Definitely nothing I noticed swapping between the two back to back in Apex or Valorant. One thing I can say that the build quality on Mouse 1 and Mouse 2 with those KL 4.0s and the side switches is far superior than any G Pro Superlight I have had out of the box. Side flex is minimal, and those KL 4.0s feel absolutely fantastic compared to mushy side clicks on my G Pro Superlight and the side flex that I do have on Mouse 1 and Mouse 2 on my G Pro Superlight. So with the G Pro Superlight on sale for around $120, compared to the MVP on sale for $89, you kind of have to ask yourself which one you kind of trust more, which one you kind of think you would like more. Again, I think it's going to depend on your hand size, it's going to depend on your grip, but I don't see any reason why the MVP could not potentially be a better option for you if you're looking for a smaller mouse than the G Pro Superlight. One thing I can say that with my grip, the mouse is a little bit less comfortable for me than a G Pro Superlight, and that is simply because the hump and area of those ergonomics towards Mouse 1 kind of get me more right under my index finger and in this pocket between my middle finger and index finger. Something that feels better for me when I am claw gripping compared to my general normal grip. But depending on your grip, again, the mouse is a very good mouse and certainly something that you could swap to over the G Pro Superlight and perform very well. So guys, overall, I did enjoy my time with the Gamesense MVP. I think overall, it's not something for me that I would pick over the Katana Superlight or G Pro Superlight. Based on my hand size, my grip, and how it feels for me in game compared to those two mice. If you're looking for something smaller, if you are a purely claw gripper, an aggressive claw gripper, I think the reduced length of the mouse makes it feel a little bit better for those grips over the G Pro Superlight. But again, if you are somebody with very large hands that uses a more relaxed grip, for me, the ergonomics as far as how those grooves and how that hump comes up and down on those two other mice feels a little bit better for me than the MVP. That's not to say that you should buy, again, a G Pro Superlight or a Katana Superlight over the Gamesense MVP. You have to take that information, base it on your hand size, your grip style, what you're looking for. Again, if you've already tried a G Pro Superlight, it's too big for you, you didn't really like it, it might be worth trying the Gamesense MVP instead. Again, objectively speaking, the switches feel good, the weight balance feel good, and overall the mouse performed for me very well in game. So certainly something that I can recommend if you are in the market for that type of mouse. If that helped, guys, please leave a subscription to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next review. Peace.